I want to get you out the door with every result from every league in under 15 minutes, so that you're more informed about what's going on in the world of sports.
Hey TJ, what's going on? I'm Chandler and this is Tiger Beat Sports.
Hey everybody, I'm Chandler Sports and this is the Sport Report.
And I'm Chandler and this is Tiger Beat Sports. Welcome to a special edition of this all crazy sports newscast.
Broadcasting from somewhere in the United States.
Hit it, Blaze.
This is the Sport Report.
Wednesday, July 31st, 2019. Hey everybody, I'm Jack Esper, the all-sports correspondent for this podcast, and this is the Sport Report. Last time we heard from Chandler, he was apparently driving all night long to get back to the Rocky Mountains. And now, he is officially returned and is coming back on tonight. So, before I let him back on, I just want to say thank you guys so much for listening to me on the Sport Report for this past week. So with that, Chandler, welcome back.
Thanks, Jack. You did an amazing job covering for me for the last week, and thank you for sticking to it and making sure that the podcast got up while I was gone. We'll have Jack back on as a guest host throughout the upcoming months. I was out on the road, mainly in the Midwest, covering the NFL for the upcoming season. I'm telling you, driving all night is not the best thing to do. I arrived in the studio at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Jack filled me in on what was upcoming for the day in Major League Baseball, as well as a couple things on the trade deadline, which we'll get to later in the episode. But without further ado, top of the order. Hey everybody, I'm Chandler with Sports, and this is the Sport Report. It's time to get you caught up on what's happening in the world of sports. This is top of the order.
In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
This is top of the order.
Our top story comes from Cincinnati. Man, what is it with the Pirates and the Reds? Roll 212.
And now Garrett's on his way to the dugout, and here we go. Oh! Garrett goes in there punching. This is not a good scene at all.
So for those wondering, earlier in the season, Derek Dietrich of the Reds hit a few home runs against the Pirates, and it didn't really make the Pirates that happy. Let's fast forward to last night. Last night, Reds reliever Amir Garrett was coming out of the game, and somebody from the Pittsburgh Pirates dugout, who was then ejected, well, he said a few words that he probably wanted to take back, because Garrett charged the Pirates dugout by himself and threw a punch, but he whiffed more than batters whiff when Randy Johnson was pitching. This went on for about 5 minutes. Benches cleared, bullpens came out. Reds manager David Bell had been thrown out of the game already for arguing balls and strikes. Well, he came back out of the field to throw a punch at Pirates manager Clint Hurdle. That didn't end up so well because Bell was then tackled to the ground. Oh, did we mention that Yasiel Puig was involved in this one? Yeah, Yasiel Puig about a few minutes earlier had been named in a 3-team trade between the Indians, Reds, and Padres. Trevor Bauer's going from the Indians to the Reds. Yasiel Puig's going from the Reds to the Indians, but we'll cover that later. But Yasiel Puig was ejected from the game, and chances are he's going to hear from Major League Baseball and get a suspension while playing for the Cleveland Indians in the future. Oh, exciting times ahead for Yasiel Puig. He and Amir Garrett were the only two Reds players that were ejected from the game. Trevor Williams, who said a few words to Garrett from the Pirates dugout, catcher Francisco Cervelli, and pitchers Chris Archer and Kyle Crick were ejected from the Pirates. All in all, Major League Baseball is going to make a few phone calls tomorrow. People are going to get suspended and fined at the very least. But this is probably not the last you've heard of the Reds and the Pirates brawling. Brawls in Major League Baseball happens more often than in hockey. We're kidding, of course. We did mention Trevor Bauer heading from the Indians to the Reds, Yasiel Puig from the Reds to the Indians, and Franmil Reyes, one of the Padres players, heading to Cleveland. The Indians made out like bandits in this trade. The MLB trade deadline is at 4 p.m. Eastern today, and chances are a few teams that are wanting to make the playoffs are going to make a few moves for pitchers and or hitters. This 3-team trade between the Indians, Reds, and Padres was probably the first of a lot of dominoes that are about to fall. One final note on Trevor Bauer before we touch base on the rest of Major League Baseball. He was taken out of the game by Indians manager Terry Francona on Sunday. He was not the happiest of campers. He actually picked up the baseball as he saw Francona coming out, stepped behind the mound, and threw the ball over the Kauffman Stadium center field in Kansas City. Probably not the smartest idea when your manager's coming out. Did it lead to his trade? That's unknown at this time. He is 9-8 with a 3.79 ERA on the season. isn't for the Indians, so those stats could have contributed to a trade. But regardless, if he wanted to do that again, as in throwing the ball from behind pitcher's mound to over the center field fence, it is 20 feet further at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati than it is over the center field fence at Kauffman Stadium. Corey Dickerson of the Pirates came off the DL to help the Pirates snap a 9-game losing streak, their longest since 2011. He had 2 home runs in this game. Pirates win 11-4. And now that we've covered that game, let's head to the other 14 games on the Major League Baseball calendar.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone! And Carlton Fisk had a lot of little boy in him right there.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight and the Mets win it.
Touch 'em all, Joe. Home run! Mike Piazza!
Jeter backhands from the outfield grass. Got it! Man, what a play!
Now from Major League Baseball.
We'll start at Yankee Stadium, where the Arizona Diamondbacks defeat the New York Yankees 4-2. Taylor Clark improves to 4-3 on the season for the Arizona Diamondbacks. J.A. Happ falls to 8-6 on the year for the New York Yankees. Atlanta Braves 11, Washington Nationals 8. Julio Teheran has a 3.38 ERA for the Braves on the season. He's now 6-7. Eric Fetty has a 1-2 record on the year for the Nationals. Baltimore Orioles 8, San Diego Padres 5. Matt Strahm falls to 4-8 on the season for the Padres. St. Louis Cardinals 2, Chicago Cubs 1 in a battle for the NL Central. It is July going into August, but the playoff races are starting to heat up. Paul Goldschmidt hit his 7th home run in 8 games for the Cardinals. He hit this one in the bottom half of the 6th inning. It not only broke open the game and gave the Cardinals their game-winning run that they would need, but it also broke open the tie at the top of the NL Central. The Cubs now trail the Cardinals by a game. Giovanni Gallegos is now 3-1 with a 2.15 ERA for the Cardinals. Yu Darvish falls to 3-5 with a 4.46 ERA for the Cubbies. Carlos Martinez collects his 11th save of the year for St. Louis. The Cardinals were one of 4 home teams to win across the 15-game slate in Major League Baseball. LA Angels 6, Detroit Tigers 1. The Angels were the second home team to win on this slate. Griffin Canning betters his record to 4-6 on the year for the Angels. Houston Astros 2, Cleveland Indians nothing. The Indians were held to 2 hits on the night altogether. Both came against Justin Verlander, who now has a 2.73 ERA for the year for the Astros. His record is now 14-4 for Houston. It's his 11th career game of at least 10 strikeouts and allowing 2 or fewer hits in a game. Nolan Ryan holds the MLB record at 35. Verlander had 13 strikeouts on the night for Houston. Shane Bieber, no relation to Justin Bieber, has a 3.4 ERA on the season for the Indians. His record's lowered to 10-4 for Cleveland. LA Dodgers 9, Colorado Rockies 4. Casey Sadler has a 1.63 ERA on the season for the Dodgers. He's now 1-0 for LA. Kyle Freeland falls to 2-9 on the season for the Rockies. In 10 innings, Oakland Athletics 3, Milwaukee Brewers 2. Blake Trinan is now 5-3 on the season for the A's. Brewers closer Josh Hader has a 2.29 ERA for the Brew Crew. He falls to 1-4. Matt Olson hit his 22nd home run of the season for the A's. This one a solo shot to center. This home run would prove to be the decisive home run, as it is the walk-off home run for the A's in the bottom half of the 10th inning. Minnesota Twins 2, Miami Marlins 1. Jake Odorizzi is now 12-5 on the season for the Twins. He's got a 3.73 ERA for them. Zach Gallen has a 2.72 ERA for the Marlins. He's 1-3 for Miami. With Byron Buxton's home run for the Twins last night, the Twins now have 11 players with at least 10 home runs in a season. The MLB record is 12. New York Mets 5, Chicago White Sox 2. This one took 11 innings. Robert Selman is now 2-2 on the year for the Mets. Jose Ruiz falls to 1-2 for the White Sox. As we mentioned, Pittsburgh Pirates 11, Cincinnati Reds 4, Seattle Mariners 8, Texas Rangers 5, Philadelphia Phillies 4, San Francisco Giants 2. Drew Smyly improves to 2-5 on the season for the Phillies, and Tyler Beede falls to 3-5 for the Giants. Toronto Blue Jays 9, Kansas City Royals 2. Mike Montgomery falls to 1-4 on the season for the Royals. And in the final game of the night, Tampa Bay Rays 6, Boston Red Sox 5. The Red Sox were threatening in the bottom half of the ninth inning with the corners loaded, but Christian Vasquez popped out to left field, and that was the ball game. Tampa wins by 1. That's the Sport Report for Wednesday, July 31st, 2019.
For now, I'm Chandler.
Thanks for tuning into the Sport Report today. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest in sports. Do you want to contact Chandler Sports or members of the Sport Report team? Visit sportreportcws.com. This podcast is copyrighted by the Sport Report for viewers to understand sports from a news reporting basis. Any other use of this podcast, Sport Report logos, or anything associated with this podcast without the express written consent of Chandler Sports is strictly prohibited.